Hello and welcome to this video. We are all expecting the visa bulletin that should be released in this month of June 2024. And as I sometimes do, in today's video, I will be sharing with you the cutoff numbers that I have established as my working tools for the month of August 2024. Now, speaking of working tools, for those of you who are not aware, on a monthly basis, as part of my diversity visa guidance program, I establish the cutoff numbers that I think would apply in the diversity visa program even before the visa bulletin is released. I do not always share these numbers with you in my videos, but this is a monthly exercise that I carry out in favor of the members of my guidance program. So this time around, once again, I'm going to share those numbers with you. Another thing is that it's not just about calling out the numbers. How I proceed in this exercise whenever I present it on this channel is to first of all explain what the background analysis is before coming out to say what I think the numbers will be. And so I'm going to proceed in that same manner in this video. But before we get into that, let me first respond to the question that is always asked around this time of the month. When can we expect the visa bulletin to be released? Now, according to the most recent trend, we expect the visa bulletin to be released on the evening of this Friday, June 7th, 2024. If there is a delay, it could extend to early next week, but the most likely time that the visa bulletin is expected to be released is on the evening of this Friday, June 7th. Now, let's go into the meat of this discussion. Let's begin with the North America region. As you guys are aware, is a region that is hardly discussed, mainly because of the size of that region. It comprises only one country, the Bahamas, with very few selectees. However, I've made it a habit to include that region in my discussions. So that is where we are going to begin now. The last cutoff number for the North America region was 15. In the last visa bulletin, that cutoff number was increased to 20. In terms of the North America region, that is a kind of leap, having the cutoff number to leave 15 to 20. Now, when it comes to the August cutoff number for the North America region, what I want to think is that the cutoff number that was established for the month of July, that is the 20, I want to think that that cutoff number will be used to deal with the case numbers that it made current during the month of August. Technically speaking, the North America region is already current. The highest case number in that region is 19, as we saw at the beginning of this year. The current cutoff number is 20. That means that the region is already current. But I want to think that the 20 cutoff number will be shown in the upcoming visa bulletin, and that it is in the following visa bulletin, that is the final visa bulletin for the DV 2024 program, that I expect to see current mentioned for the North America region. So that is it concerning the North America region. Now over to the next region, which should be the Asia region, but which I'm going to associate with the Europe region. Now, those of you who have been following, you remember that in a recent video, I actually divided the regions into three groups. The first group comprised the North America region. The second group comprised both the Asia and the Europe regions. And in the third group, I have the other regions. So in a sense, we have already dealt with the first group, which is the North America region. Now, let's turn our attention to the second group, which comprises both the Asia and the Europe regions. Now, this classification of the regions in different groups is actually based on similarities that exist amongst or between the different regions. And that is the case of both the Asia and the Europe regions. I've said that in past videos. In recent times, both of these regions have been dealt with similarly. In the DV 2023 program, for example, these regions had their cutoff numbers increase slowly. Generally in that program, there were a couple of leaps in both of the regions around the same time, and by the time we got to the end of that program, the cutoff numbers in both of those regions did not get to the highest case numbers. If you should observe the trend in the DV 2024 program, you will realize that both the Asia and the Europe regions, once again, are being dealt with similarly. There has been slow movements in their cutoff numbers. In the last visa bulletin, both of them experienced a kind of leap. That is why I classify them in the same group. Now, when it comes to the month of August, concerning both of those regions, right after the visa bulletin was published last month, I made a video, and in that video, I said to you that the best had already occurred when it comes to both the Asia and the Europe regions. I do not see any further leaps occur in both of those regions. If the cutoff number should increase in both of those regions, I expect their increase to be very low. So for both of those regions, either the cutoff number for the month of July is repeated, or in case there is an increase, I expect it to be a low increase. So I would go with a repeat of the cutoff number in the Asia region, that is 13,000, and also a repeat of the cutoff number in the Europe region at 27,500. As I said, it is possible for some increase to happen in either of them or both of them, but if that should happen, I expect it to be a very low increase. So that is it for both the Asia and the Europe regions that are classified in the same group. Now we move over to the final group, which comprises the remaining three regions, that is Africa, Oceania, and South America. Now, I've been saying that the months of August and September are expected to have high levels of interviews in the DV 2024 program, as is the case in the diversity visa program generally. Now, for that to happen, leaps generally occur. I have been announcing leaps in all of the regions, with the exception of the North America region, of course, for some time now, and I said that those leaps are expected in the upcoming visa bulletin. Now, both the Asia and the Europe regions have already experienced their leaps in the last visa bulletin. The remaining three regions that have not yet experienced their leaps, I expect them to experience their leaps in this visa bulletin. Now, another thing that I should remind you of is that throughout this DV 2024 program, we have been speaking about caution that is being applied by the visa office when it comes to moving the cutoff numbers. So, leaps expected, but with caution. That is how I view the cutoff numbers to apply in the remaining three regions for the month of August. So if we should begin with Africa, I see the Africa cutoff number being established anywhere from 75 to 80,000. I have established it just above the halfway mark of that range at 78,000. That's for the Africa region. For the Oceania region, which is currently at 2,000, I expect the cutoff number for that region for the month of August to be at least midway between 2,000 and 3,000. So anywhere from 2,500 to 2,800. I take the lower end of that range, that is 2,500. And then finally, for the South America region, which is very similar to the Oceania region, but with a more extensive overall case number range, are expected to be similar. The South America region is currently at 3,000, are expected to be increased to at least midway between 3 and 4,000. That is anywhere from 3,500 to 3,800. I go with 3,600 because the overall case number range in that region is more extensive than in the Oceania region. So that is it. Those are what I have established for the month of August 2024. As I said, the visa bulletin is expected to be released on Friday evening. So let's see how close these will be to what the visa office will establish when the visa bulletin is released. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching it. See you, God willing, in the next one. Goodbye.